This scenario of the Balkans never gaining independence, excluding Greece, starts in 1880. The Russo-Turkish War of 1877 to 1878 has ended, and in our world, Russia and the Balkans won, but in this timeline, the Turks will win. And you may ask, how could the Ottomans defeat Russia and the Balkans? That's why this scenario will be a bit unrealistic, and also this war will take 3 years instead of 10 months. But before we get into the aftermath of the war, we will talk about how in this scenario, the Ottomans win. It starts like normal with the Russians moving into Romania, the latter declaring independence. Serbia joins and the Russian army of about 185,000 soldiers enter Ottoman territory, but unlike in our timeline, the Ottomans will know about this plan and will send 40,000 soldiers out of their 100,000 soldiers to encircle the Russo-Romanian army in Bulgaria. While doing so, they defeat the small Serbian army. Although the war doesn't go well for the Turks in the Caucasus, they do well in Europe. They encircle the main Romanian and Serbian armies and capture them, and they push to Bessarabia. The Montenegrins attempt to make a distraction which fails, and they take over some territory back from Russia in the Caucasus and take a lot of southwestern Ukraine. This results in the Russian Empire suing for peace and the war ends. Montenegro is annexed, Serbia loses a lot of land, Romania loses most of Wallachia and gains some Russian land. Meanwhile the Ottomans get some Russian land and Russia takes a little bit of Ottoman land on the Caucasus border. This war presents to the rest of Europe how Russia is pretty weak, having lost to the Ottomans, who are not as strong as they used to be. About a year after this huge defeat for Russia, a Polish uprising would start on the 17th of July 1880. This rebellion would at first be successful for Poland until they would start losing. Another thing that happens is the Russian spy network finding out how supposedly the Germans were secretly supporting Poland, which would cause Russia to declare war on Germany and take over parts of eastern Prussia. The war would go on for a few months until it turned into a stalemate and the two sides signed an armistice. The peace deal would be that Poland would gain independence and Germany would gain a little bit of Lithuania, and all three would sign non-aggression pacts. On the 18th of November 1887, the Principalities of Romania and Serbia would declare their independence to form the Kingdom of Romania and Kingdom of Serbia. This would cause the Ottomans to march in their land, but they would meet Austrian troops who were siding with the Balkan states. In this war, the Ottomans would be backed by France, Austria and Italy, with Germany and Russia making plans to carve Austria, which has been very secretive. The war would go great for the Austrian side since they pushed the Ottomans far in Bosnia and began liberating the Balkans. With Greece also joining the war, everything seemed to be going amazing for Austria and the Balkans. But this video isn't about the Balkans getting independence in the late 1880s, isn't it? On the 7th of March 1889, Italy would declare war on Austria as they march into Tyrol and Styria. 4 months later, and Germany, Russia and Poland invade Austria, causing them to collapse and the Balkan nations surrender to the Ottomans. The peace deal would be that Germany would take most of Austria and Czechia, Italy would take Tyrol and most of the Austrian coastline, the Polish would take western Galicia, meanwhile Russia would take eastern Galicia, the Greeks would take some of the Ottoman Empire, the Ottomans would take a lot of eastern Hungary and a bit of the coast, annex Serbia and Romania, and Hungary would become independent. This war would be costly for the Ottomans, who had spent a lot of money in their two wars with the great powers of Russia in the Russo-Turkish War and Austria in the Austro-Turkish War, and they would sell land to Italy, Russia and Hungary. They would sell some of their Adriatic coast to Italy, most of the land they took from Austria to Hungary, and northern Romania to Russia. This would improve relations between the Ottomans and the other three. And this will be the end of the video, and comment if you think this world will be peaceful or not. The end.